Hello, everybody. Welcome to Aaron and Heather's Blogcast, where we tell you what the media is saying about real estate.
And what they're not saying.
Are you excited today?
So excited.
Sounds like an SNL skit.
So we have an article written by Costar, which is a service that we use that markets commercial properties. This one is entitled Orange County Apartment Deal Among Past Year's Largest Amid Heightened Southern California Demand. So we have a Yorba Linda apartment complex that has exceeded $200 million for its sale price, which is pretty awesome.
$200 million.
I just think it's cool that it was Yorba Linda and it's where we are.
That's right.
So that's pretty fun. It sold for $205.5 million, which equates to about $514,000 per unit, which I'm nerdy, so I did the math on that.
Of course.
And it's 400 units.
Oh, there you go.
So it's a big complex. But think about that. It's an apartment complex, right? So we've got 1 bed, 2 bed, maybe a few 3 beds, but that's probably not the max. And they're selling for $514,000 a door.
It's amazing. I mean, we know that complex pretty well. The homes in that area, really for the last 5-7 years, we're averaging maybe a $600,000,
Right.
$700,000 sale price. But in the last year or two, they all exceed $1 million around there. And some of them, especially just up the hill a little, are eking into the $4, $5, $6 million for the larger homes. So it's just amazing watching them pull up the value of the apartments even alone.
Yeah. What I thought was interesting that the article talks about is the rising interest in apartment deals or multi-family housing deals has gone up 228% in the last year.
Amazing.
Which amid a health crisis is kind of crazy to think about, but the fact that there's a lot of stability with jobs, which there was a concern about early on in the pandemic, but has not been such a concern lately, that investors are really going after those because rent rates are so high, right? The average rental rate for an apartment in Orange County is almost $2,500 a month.
Unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they keep saying it's affordable.
Yeah.
Right? It's amazing. So what are they not saying in this? What stuck out to you as being missed?
Well, I think that there's only so much development, right? In Orange County. So these places are being gobbled up because you can't just go and build an apartment complex.
Right.
So that while these are great investments, it's not like we should be telling every investor, go and find yourself an apartment complex of 400 units and buy it. Because there aren't a lot.
Sure.
And there probably aren't that many more to be had.
Right. That's a great point. Yeah. One of the things that sticks out to me is that, in this space, our state in general is talking a lot about housing.
Yes.
And they're actually using the term crisis, right? The media loves the term crisis. We have a climate crisis. We have a housing crisis. Well, this housing crisis, anytime you hear that term, that means there's going to be money being made somewhere around the crisis. Yeah. It's unfortunate because obviously there's people that are falling victim in any form of crisis. But there's also incredible opportunity when it comes to meeting that need, right? Which is what a crisis is. So the housing crisis is just a depiction of the need for housing that we have and the lack of housing available. So of course, this particular asset was picked up by Blackstone Group, one of the largest equities in our country right now. They are on an absolute binge of buying as much real estate as they possibly can. For their investors, and so not surprising that they've come into Yorba Linda to pick up this asset. But that is their goal: is if there's a shortage of something and there's a high demand caused by shortage, they're going to capitalize on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I may put on my retired financial advisor hat for just a second,
fits you so well.
Thank you. Blackstone Group is one of the investors that does a lot of REITs. So most of us normal folks can't just go and buy a $200 $500,000 apartment complex, right? But
I checked my card.
There are other ways to invest in that type of real estate, and one of those ways would be to invest in a REIT, which is a real estate investment trust, which is like a portfolio of these types of properties, and usually they include other types as well. But for people that want to invest in real estate that can't just go out and buy their own apartment complex, it's a great idea to invest in a REIT, which would have something like this in it.
Love it. Well, how does this translate to our listeners, the people who tend to use Heather and I in real estate, as we don't tend to represent Blackstone Group? Last I checked my voicemail, they did not leave me any messages to
Still
represent
waiting.
them on this sale. But we do have a ton of our clients who do invest in real estate, who purchase single family homes, who do purchase units. Just that number, just to reiterate what Heather read to you a second ago, $514,000 a unit for this complex. And normally, if you think of anything, there's an economy of scale. So when you have a massive amount of units, like 400 in this complex, you would normally anticipate that price per unit to go down. But that's clearly not the case here at $514 a unit. I remember selling units within the last 3-4 years where they were in the $300,000 a unit range. So that keeping that in mind, if you are interested in looking at a duplex or a triplex, 4 units, anything more attainable in that $1 million to $2 million range, there are some really good ones. We actually just brought one to the market this week in the city of Fullerton, right by downtown and right by Fullerton College. That is still very approachable price point, $1.25 million for 2 on a lot. So don't think that just because you can't afford $200 million, you can't get into real estate investing. So feel free to give us a call.
The flip side of that real quick is that if you are renting, and you're looking at an average rent of $2,500, which most likely right here, you're paying more, like three and a half. Talk to us, because we could probably get you into something with a mortgage in that range.
Absolutely.
Where you're actually paying yourself instead of paying someone else to build equity.
You're renting one of these units in Yorba Linda, you're apparently renting a place worth $514,000 already. Yes. Keep that in mind. So thanks for listening. Have a wonderful day.